It's going to be a rainy day. It's only going to get rainier. But I want to film this very briefly like I did last time because there were some people interested. What you're looking at here is fence. That's a gate post. There'll be a gate in there. That's why that's higher and it'll be heavier. Why that is like that is a little hard to explain. There's a little bit of just simple fence. But there is the reason I'm coming back here. That is the summer kitchen, which will be an 8x12 hut. And I'm building it a little bit differently, and there's some things I want to show you about that, so I'm going to approach it. Maybe from here I can show you a little bit better. Structural trim. I coined that term, but that's the main thing I want to show you. That corner, those corner boards right there, they're structural. The door casing right there, that is structural. It's helping to hold the hut up. The window casing over there goes all the way down to the sill. It is also structural. If you'll notice that the plates go out over those, the casing and the corner boards. They go over it because they're bearing on it. Now the braces, there's two of them there. They are also structural, but they're not exactly trim. I mean, they're necessary. But when in what I call faux Tudor, when people build houses what's more standard now, that are just fine, they'd stay up by themselves, and then they nail boards on. They nail lots of braces on there, at which point they become trim, but decorative trim. Now the the roofing, the way the roof is going to bear on the walls, is one of the real different things that I do besides the structural trim. Oh, and by the way, John Saulnier, if you're watching, that's what unites the two pallets. He worried that the seam between the two pallets would make that weak. Another thing, midway, now at the bottom that's the plate, at the top, or I'm sorry, that's the sill. At the top that's the plate. In the middle is the rail, and it goes the whole way around too, but it wouldn't solve the problem John was talking about. Now back up here, I guess I won't really try to explain that until I actually have the rafters on there. But the rafters are not going to bear directly on the wall. The rafters are going to bear on the joists that shoot out over the wall, and they end up giving that medieval effect of putting a little bit of a spring on the inside of the building to those joists. All right, there's at least one other thing I want to show you, so I'm going to approach this more. Well, I'm standing inside the summer kitchen, the way it's going to be built, or where to begin. This cook stove, if you blew on it, it'd fall apart. It's barely, I'm going to have to use a lot of furnace cement to try to hold that together, but the top is okay. The pallets on it, because the goats, if goats jumped up on there, they might well just knock or reduce it to pieces again. This plank, I suppose it was a butchering a bench. I think my mother bought it. It's upside down now. It also will probably be structural, but I don't know. The cook stove won't be structural. But in each corner, there will be what I have come to call a structural corner cupboard. The bracing is there, and it's important, real important. But it will, each one of those will be in effect a corner cupboard, but a structural one. Each corner has one, and that's kind of the standard way that I will build. Now, to keep the building from racking, maybe I should go outside to explain that. Okay, I'm back outside. And why I'm here is because I wanted to show you that this building will not rack that way. I cannot rack it that way, partly because it's 12 foot, but it's also got the two braces on it. However, in spite of these braces, it will rack this way. I'll bet you can see that moving with the camera. It racks dramatically, and it's kind of scary. Well, once it's got the weight of the floor, the second floor, and the roof, and the living roof, and 4 inches of soil on top of this is going to carry a lot of weight. That racking would probably be insignificant. However, it still should not be there. And so here's another thing that's a novelty, I think. There will be a brace go there and a brace go there to support the middle, and that way you don't have to have a lintel. I think of it as a wooden arch. And that wooden arch will also prevent the racking, or at least resist it. And I may actually do that even a second time. I'm not sure, since this is made worse in this case, because the floor is going to be dirt. Oddly enough, for cleanliness sake, I felt that the floor really should be a dirt floor. Otherwise, I'm going to have mice and rats get underneath it. This way the chickens can keep it clean. Well, anyway, since the floor goes down lower, the sill is not continuous across there. So really what I've got is a freestanding corner cupboard and a freestanding structural corner cupboard, and they're only tied together at the top. So I may use that lower, greater height here and come down, possibly, probably not, but with a second brace. Also, when the joists are there, and I could put a structural trim on the inside. I may, of these windows, but in any case, I probably will. In any case, there'll be a brace there and over there as well, and so that will resist that racking or swaying, if you want to call it that. The main reason I'm doing that, though, is to shorten the span. I've got an 8-foot span here. And by coming in 2 feet on either side, I'll have a 4-foot span, and I'll arrange it so that the brace lands directly under a knee wall. This is going to be a study, really, in whether it can be okay to carry as much weight as this building is going to carry. All right, well, kind of incomplete. You can see the way I held it together until I get the structural trim on is I just wire the pallets together. That'll be enough, I guess, for now, but I want to show you one other thing. I'm going to go up there and I want to show you some fencing, but that'll be another video.